Ever notice that some solos are like a gold mine for licks? That type of solo is one of the best ways to grow as a guitarist because you can take those phrases, drop them into your own solos, and instantly sound more musical. So in this video, I'm going to show you one of the most overlooked examples of that. It's a great solo, jam-packed with punchy lick ideas that are easy to learn and just as easy to put into your own playing. Let's go. Some solos are great for building up your classic lick library. In fact, some solos almost seem designed for this purpose. For example, there's Cream's version of Crossroads with Eric Clapton on guitar from Wheels of Fire. Or Jimmy Page in, well, just about anything from Zepp 1 and 2, like Dazed and Confused, Good Times, Bad Times, or Whole Lotta Love. Tons of reusable licks there. And then there's Gary Rossington and Alan Collins in Freebird. Southern rock lines that are still some of the most quoted licks in rock guitar. And then there's all those Chuck Berry style licks that you get from players like Angus Young in songs like Highway to Hell, or even Drew Abbott in Kathmandu from Bob Seger's Live Bullet. Let me know your personal favorite in the comments below. But that brings me to one of the best lick-based solos out there, and it was done by this man, Burton Avere. Do you still not know him? He was the lead guitarist in the Knack, and the song is My Sharona. Now, Burton Avere is not a household name like Jimmy Page or Angus Young, but he's a real hidden gem of a player, and that solo to My Sharona is just a killer solo. Avere filled that solo with melodic, punchy licks that are tailor-made for guitars to borrow. So, if you only know that riff, it's time to learn some of those licks. Let me show you. As always, we're going to start with the chords, and this is especially true when we're talking about licks. Really important to connect licks with chords. Okay, the solo is played over 3 chords: C, G, and F. Starts on the C, ends on the F, goes back to the C. So we're going to be looking for chord tones on those 2 chords. The G is kind of along for the ride. Okay, so it's a super simple chord progression. It's in the key of C. So everything we're going to do is going to be around C major pentatonic or the C major scale, or just simply chords, and I'll guide you through that. Let me show you. So the solo begins with some nice melodic playing before the licks start. It goes like this. That's very nice playing, but it's not really the focus of what this video is all about. It's about the licks, and the lick fest is about to begin. So without further ado, let's get to this first one. It's one that I love. I use it all over the place in country rock. Let's check it out. Okay, here's lick 1 as it's played on the record. Now here it is slowed down. I call that the hoedown lick, and that's how it works. But why does it work that way, and how can you use it in other songs? Let me show you. Now we could go into scales and all that, but I think it's far easier to just look at this in terms of the chord. This right here, all of those notes are simply notes in a C major chord. I'm going to prove it to you. This note right here on the G string is bent to here. Right? That's an E. Right here, when we're barring on the B and E strings, you can see if I just play those 3 notes, those are the top 3 notes of a C major bar chord. See? That's all it is. So if we wanted to transpose it to D, all we'd have to do is look for this little chord and bend on the G string to get there. Or how about a G? And now. So that's a great lick to learn. It works in lots of settings, especially if you attach it to the chord, makes it easy to move around. But the next lick is flashy, but not that hard, and maybe even applicable in more settings. Works great in country rock, southern rock, and even metal. Let me show you. Like before, there's a little lead into it. And now the lick part itself goes like this. And now slowed down. So that's the lick itself. Pretty flashy, right? That's how to do it. But how does it work and why does it work? Again, the key is the chord. Let me show you. Okay, this one is especially easy to understand if you covered the last one. If you already see that this is a C chord, that's part of this bar chord. All we're going to do is we're going to take this E and we're going to move it up an octave and put it here. So instead of playing E, G, C, we're going to play G, C, E, right? Just notes of a C chord. Now, if we alter that, we can make it more interesting by playing notes in that C major pentatonic scale or the C major scale. So, and that's something that you can do, again, in any key over different chords. That idea of attaching things to a chord, super useful. And that lick is a great one to get down because that idea is used in all sorts of contexts. I bet you'll recognize this one. I know it's sacrilege to play it on a Les Paul with a pick, but I'm sure you got the idea. All right, that's a great lick, but the next one, I might use it in almost every solo I play, so let's learn it. Okay, here's the lick itself. And now slowly. Now, how to move it around? Well, I think of this as coming from, again, a C chord, this one right here. Now that's just this regular open C moved up a whole octave. Now I would never play this chord itself, but I can still visualize it, and I can see right there's a root, and there's the C major pentatonic scale around it. So that's how I think about moving around this lick, as it comes from that. That is a great lick. I use it all the time, but there are so many other great licks in the song. I'm not going to cover them all in this video, but I will be covering them in my newsletter. So it's free to join. Why don't you click below? There's a link in the description of the video below. You can join, and I'll be covering this and so much more in the coming weeks and months. So join my newsletter. I'll see you on down the road.